Hey everyone, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're mapping out the sweeping 2026 U.S. immigration changes. Look, if you're a migrant planning your future or a relocation researcher guiding global talent, you probably already feel the ground shifting beneath your feet. So we're going to look directly at the latest data and policies to understand exactly what's happening, what the real trade-offs are, and how you need to adapt your strategy.
Here's our roadmap. We've structured this explainer along the actual relocation journey, starting with the new vetting reality, moving through specific pathways for visitors, students, and workers, and wrapping up with your specific 2026 strategy.
All right, part one, the new vetting reality.
Okay, the big overarching shift right now is the expanded social media review. This is absolutely crucial. Your profiles must now be set to public or open. Consular officers are actively specifically looking at Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, and YouTube. And they aren't just scanning for security threats, They're meticulously checking for consistency. Does your employment history on LinkedIn perfectly match your application? Does your relationship and travel history align with what you claimed? Every detail matters.
And here is exactly what's causing those massive processing delays you've likely heard about. In the past, USCIS routinely reused your existing fingerprints just to keep cases moving. Well, not anymore. The new 2026 policy requires mandatory biometric resubmission for enhanced FBI background checks. This is triggering temporary holds across the board. Now, interestingly, foreign physicians recently got an exemption due to healthcare shortages. But for almost everyone else, you have to bake these biometric delays into your timeline.
So, with all this intense new vetting, a huge question naturally pops up. Does the government use AI to just automatically deny your visa? It's a pretty scary thought.
Well, here is the reality. The system definitely uses AI screening. It's working behind the scenes to flag fraud, spot data inconsistencies, and identify patterns. However, the final adjudication, the actual yes or no, is strictly made by a human officer. The AI just puts a giant red flag on your file. So a quick pro tip here, stay away from templated or AI-generated recommendation letters because the system is specifically trained to catch those.
Moving right along to Section 2, Visitor Visa Bonds Explained.
If you're coming in temporarily on a B1 or B2 visitor visa from certain designated countries, there's a steep new financial hurdle. You might be asked to post a visa bond, and the officer determines the amount at your interview. It'll be either $5,000, $10,000, or $15,000. Plus, if you have this bond, you are restricted to entering the U.S. through commercial airports only. Literally, no land borders or seaports. There is one major, very specific carve-out, though. Athletes, staff, and verified ticket holders for the 2026 FIFA World Cup are totally exempt.
Let's look at Section 3, Student Timelines and Limits.
For international students, this is literally a game changer. We're seeing the end of what's called duration of status. It used to be that you could stay in the U.S. for as long as your academic program took. Now, you face a strict, fixed 4-year limit. If your degree takes longer, like a lot of PhD or complex STEM programs do, you actually have to file a formal extension of stay with USCIS.
And it gets tighter after you graduate. That traditional 60-day grace period you used to have to pack up your apartment, say your goodbyes, or apply for work authorization, yeah, that's been slashed right in half. You now have just 30 days to depart or change your status.
Let's map this out in the real world. Say you start your program. You hit year 4 and realize you need an extension. Remember those biometric delays we just talked about? You have to factor those into your extension wait time. And the second your program finishes, that super tight 30-day clock starts ticking. Your margin for administrative error is pretty much gone.
Okay, Section 4, Worker Visas and EADs.
Brace yourselves for this number, $100,000. A new fee now applies to new H-1B visa applications that require consular processing outside the U.S. Now, this doesn't hit people doing amendments from inside the country, but for employers trying to bring in brand new global talent, it's a massive, unprecedented hit to relocation budgets. And even if you clear that financial hurdle, the scrutiny is off the charts. We are seeing a huge spike in H-1B requests for evidence, or RFEs. What's triggering them? Often, it's a mismatch between the job title and your actual education, or weak proof that it's a specialty occupation. But crucially, tying back to our first point, any discrepancy between your resume, your public LinkedIn profile, and the petition itself will trigger an immediate RFE. Also, if you rely on an employment authorization document, an EAD, pay close attention. The validity period has dropped from up to 24 months down to a maximum of 18 months. And worse, those automatic extensions you used to get while your renewal was pending, those are gone. You absolutely have to track your expiration dates now so you don't accidentally lose your work authorization.
So, because the H-1B is getting so expensive and complex, we're seeing talent pivot hard towards self-sponsored alternatives. The EB-1A for extraordinary ability or the EB-2 national interest waiver, especially if you're making waves in AI or healthcare, are huge right now. And the O-1A is super active for startup founders. These pathways require rock-solid, verifiable evidence, but the trade-off is they put the control entirely back in your hands.
Bringing it all together in Section 5, your 2026 relocation strategy.
All right, so what is your actual game plan? It boils down to 3 highly practical steps. Step 1, audit your public digital presence today. Make sure your LinkedIn matches your resume perfectly. Step 2, bake in extra time. Between fingerprinting and new background checks, delays are a given. Step 3, file early to lock in your priority date.
Why is Step 3 so absolutely critical? Just look at these backlog dates. For Indian applicants in the EB-2 and EB-3 employment categories, the backlog dates are stuck way back in 2013. That's over a decade of waiting. China is also facing massive multi-year backlogs. Securing your priority date the absolute second you're eligible is the only way to get your spot in a line that is moving at a snail's pace.
To really understand the why behind all these new hurdles, you just have to look at the State Department's own words. They've stated plainly, a U.S. visa is a privilege, not a right. Every visa adjudication is a national security decision. That tells you everything you need to know about the 2026 operational mindset. They are treating every single application as a security evaluation first.
Which means your ultimate takeaway today is this: absolute consistency across your digital footprint is your best defense. Any exaggerated job title online or a mismatched date between your social media and your formal application, that is exactly what the AI flags and what human officers use to hit pause or deny your case. Which brings us to a final, pretty crucial question for you to chew on. As these screening technologies get smarter and the government digs deeper, is your digital footprint truly ready to be treated as your most important piece of evidence? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Start auditing those profiles, plan for the delays, and approach your 2026 relocation with a solid strategy.